Hi, I'm Mary Lindsay Wilson, and welcome to the Lone Star Dowsers. This is our November 2025 meeting, and I am delighted to introduce to you our speaker tonight is Beth Vaughan. And Beth has a multitude of talents and practices that she does, which you'll learn about. She she's a native Houstonian. She's also a pharmacist, and she became interested in alternative healing and therapy when her husband had a traumatic brain injury. She practices, she's a teacher of spiritual response therapy. She's got students from around the world. She uses the Mind Mirror EEG system to understand and maximize the meditation process by looking at the brainwave states during meditation. She also is a Nuvision practitioner, and she uses that amazing technology in a number of ways for wellness. She offers workshops in person and on Zoom, and most interestingly, she is a what are we going to call it? Like, she is a she's a, I guess, instructor at the main Monroe Institute Trainer. So tonight we're in a treat. We have a treat. We're gonna do some introduction to brainwave theory and the advantage of the Monroe Sound Science Technology, which is used in some audio exercise. So we're going to get to experience that, and we have lots of questions and lots of interesting information that we're going to focus on tonight. So welcome, Beth.
Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm really thrilled to be here today. I just was listening to a recording from our professional division meeting that we had a couple weeks ago. I couldn't attend, but I got to listen to it, and there's so many exciting things that are coming down the pike. And it's like, wow, I can't wait to tell everybody. And this is going to be like my first audience to be able to share it with. And actually, a while back, I kind of made the rounds, and Lone Star Dowser was definitely a stop whenever I first became an outreach or trainer, probably about 10 years ago. So it's really exciting to come back, a different venue, of course, but it's
Yeah,
really,
and new tools. Well,
yeah.
before we dive into that, what tell us how you kind of got into the world of healing.
Yes. So
How'd you get here?
okay, that's a long drawn out story, but basically my dad was a pharmacist, and he had a pharmacy downtown, right across the street from St. Joseph Hospital. And I grew up there, and I went with him all the time. Saturdays were often spent there. And so I saw a lot of people coming through as a doctor's building, St. Joseph Professional Building, a doctor's building, and people were coming in, getting their medicine from him. And it was just like my second home whenever I was a child. And I saw how he helped people, and people were really grateful, and they got better, and they were really getting a lot of benefit out of it. And it's like, okay. And careful what you say. He would always tell everybody, and this one is going to be a pharmacist. And so it's like, well, I guess I'm going to be a pharmacist. So growing up in Houston, University of Houston was, where I wanted to go. And I left for a little bit, then came back to Houston and went to pharmacy school there. So healing was something that was very natural for me. I've been around it my whole life in the medical traditional field. Um, did my internship at MD Anderson and Walgreens and Southwest Memorial. It's called something different now, but so I've been local. And when my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, had this traumatic brain injury, he got the best care. He went to tier, stayed inpatient for 6 months, which was a long time. Like, they hardly do that now, but he got very good care. But what I noticed is being inpatient that long and then outpatient another 2 years, there was still something missing. So I was always on the lookout. We eventually got married, and I was always on the lookout. What could help him get better? Because I knew that intuition in me was there saying, I know there's something out there that can help him. So I went to so many alternative healing places, and now it sounded kind of weird then, but it's like, okay, this pharmacist is going to go to acupuncture now and chiropractor and, all of these other things that I hadn't really been trained on. But it's like, there's got to be something out there. And I was actually at a meeting for one of my employers, and one of the other pharmacists told us about this hemisync that he was doing. And he would go into meditation and find out more information about like his clients and other things and like get in coherence with people. And he's like, oh, by the way, they have a institute in Virginia. So I had just taken SRT whenever I heard that. And I really feel like that opened me up to be open to something other than what we have already done. So that was 11 years post-injury. And so I started going onto the Monroe Institute website and seeing all the workshops that were offered. And there was an article that was about a lady that had a brain injury and listened to HemiSync, and her outcome really got better. And it's like, let me give it a try. So I ordered CDs and he didn't want to try them. I ordered the whole gateway set and he wasn't interested. So it's like, well, I don't really know about this. So let me just book a trip or book a trip to Virginia. And he's like, no, I don't want to go to Virginia. So how about California? No, he was really picky. And so we ended up going to Spain and made it a vacation. And I would have to say it was probably one of the best vacations. So we went and did our gateway in Spain. And that was actually 20 years ago, Mary. 20
Wow.
years ago. Yeah. And during that program, I was kind of attentive to him and he like fell asleep through almost the whole thing. And it's like, wow, this is kind of weird. Maybe we're in Spain and having siestas all the time. Maybe that's how it's supposed to be. But what I noticed in the group of 18 people that were there, and mainly from, it was English speaking, mainly from the UK, but all around the world, people from Egypt, South America, um, I think like Chile, just people from all around the world having the same audio exercise, but having different experiences. And it's like, this is really interesting. So I was thinking, what are we doing here? Just syncing our brains, getting them balanced because of the brain injury. He really needed it. I was along for the ride. Well, I couldn't keep him awake. I tried really hard, but he was just out. And what I learned later is that he was probably making new neural connections, new like neurogenesis was going on. It was kind of a thought at the time, but I didn't know much about it. But what I noticed is that after that program, things changed for him. I'm not going to say he's perfect because no one's perfect, right? But he and his cognitive abilities really increased. He used to lose his wallet all the time. He didn't do that anymore. He was horrible with the bank account. He has his own bank account now. So a lot of things that improved his life, he could sleep better. He had a hard time sleeping. Luckily, he didn't have issues with pain at that time, but there were things that he could listen to, not medicate with like I was used to, but listen to and over and really get a lot of benefit out of it. And I was impressed. I was so impressed that it's like, you know what? I think I'm going to make an agreement with myself to come to a program once a year and see how it affects my life. Well, as it turns out, there was a study done, and there were a lot of people surveyed that did the Gateway program and then 3 programs. So it's like, okay, I got Gateway under my belt. And the study said that there was a better life satisfaction after people did 3 programs. And it's like, okay, well, let me go ahead and try to do 3. So I did 3 and it's like, wow, it is really making a difference. It's, can be very anxiety ridden whenever you're dealing with somebody that is, on their journey to recovery. And really, it's never ending. It's always a journey. But it was helpful for me to be able to be patient and not so irritated by some of the circumstances that were going on. And it really helped me have a different overview, really understand what happened, why it happened, and what my role was in it. And I think both SRT and the HemiSync programs or Monroe Institute programs really helped me see a different perspective of everything and help me see how I could kind of find my way without going through a lot of trife, a lot of hardships otherwise. So that's kind of where
I
I
think
got started.
everybody would like that. Let's just skip the strife and yeah. Let's take
Yeah,
the softer, easier, gentler way, please. Yeah.
amen. Yes, definitely. And there is a path. So the more I got interested in it, after my gateway, I came back home and I felt like there was this group thing that really was important in it. So I started doing, do you remember Centerpoint?
Yeah.
Yeah, I started doing HemiSync once a month there, and people would come together and join me in a meditation. And then people are like, well, tell me more about it. And it's like, oh, I don't really know. So an opportunity came up to be a trainer. And so I took the weekend class or the training to offer the weekend class. So I offered the weekend class. I started it in Houston. I'm kind of taking a break, but I'm getting back to it now. And I'll talk to you a little bit more about what we have going on here. But I felt this was something important, and I didn't know about it. I only happened to know about it because my colleague mentioned it. And then it turns out somebody else had gone to the Monroe Institute, and it's like, oh, that's just interesting. And, they've been around since the 70s. It was founded in 1971, and it just wasn't anything that I had ever known about. And it was so impactful for both my husband and myself. And then talking to other people and how their lives has really changed. It's like, wow, I really want to be involved in this. So,
Yeah. Okay. Well, so now it begs the question for those that don't know, what is the Monroe Institute?
okay. I have a little PowerPoint. Would it be okay if I went to it real quick?
Sure.
Okay. I have some interesting things that I can share. Let me see where it's at now.
So you're going to give us a little background, and then in a little while, we're going to have a whole an experience, a 30-minute experience of this, right?
Yes.
And then time for questions and answers. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So let me get started on that. So what I want to talk about is a little bit of the history and experience and exercise. What's going on today? Because a lot of people may be familiar with the Monroe Institute and what's available, where to find it, our Expand app, and then have some Q&As. But let me just ask if people can raise their hand if you're not on camera, if you want to raise your virtual hand. Who has heard of the Monroe Institute or had an experience with the Monroe Institute? And you can also put it in chat. Oh, okay, Sandra, very
Okay,
good.
Sandra.
Anyone else? Okay, very good. Oh, another Zoom user put their hand up. Okay, great. Okay, Susan, Travis, nope. Okay. All right,
Mm.
Christine, very nice. Okay. So let me just start from the beginning and talk about who it all started with. So Bob Monroe wrote a book, and his book was called Journeys Out of the Body. And what happened with Bob, and let me just back up a little bit, Mary. Last night I was watching a special on TV, and Kenny Chesney was interviewed, and he was talking about how incredible it was, to be in front of a group of people. It's like an out of body experience, and it just made me chuckle. And I wanted to text you, and it's like so many people use that term out of body experience. And where did it come from? It came from Bob Monroe, where he had a spontaneous out of body, not anything he was trying to do, but he found himself on his ceiling, looking up at the chandelier, turned around and noticed somebody was in bed with his wife. Went down to look to see who it was, and it was him, and it freaked him out. And he actually discovered about 25 people have a spontaneous out of body. And I used to answer some of the calls that came through the Institute. And a lot of them are from a traumatic accident or from surgery, or just an intense place in their life where they find themselves out of body. And a lot of times around sleep, like if they're taking a nap or falling asleep or waking up, they can find themselves detached or just a little bit out of phase from their body. And that's what Bob Monroe would call out of body. So it freaked him out. After he found out he wasn't dying, he decided, well, let me find out more about this. And he had a background in sound. He was a radio producer. He produced shows like The Shadow. Does people may not remember it, but it was before TV, radio was big, and he was super into sound and radio, and he produced a lot of radio shows. Dark Shadows, I think, also was something that he produced. So he was good in sound, and so he started using sound to try to get into these spaces where he could explore like he did in his out of body state. And he mapped would be a cosmology of how he saw the spiritual realms, I guess you could say, or over there versus here, and what it's like being out of body and things of that nature, and what you could do there. So he had this cosmology that's pretty complete, where he started using sound to explore certain areas of it. So he came up with the Gateway program. So he was very famous for his books. People wanted to listen to his exercises and said, "Hey, can I come and play around with your exercises?" And so he would have people coming in all the time listening to exercises. So he would ask them, how do you experience that? How do you experience this? And he learned how to use the sound technology and patented HemiSync, which is the sound technology that started it all in his time. He created a residential center. First, he started traveling around the country, and his first program was in Esalen in California. And then his wife decided, hey, instead of traveling over the world, have people come and see you. So, being a successful businessman, he purchased a large amount of property in rural Virginia and created the Monroe Institute. And now it's huge, really popular in Europe and in Japan. They have a center in Japan. They offer all the programs that are offered here in the US.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I also have heard that the Monroe Institute was connected with the CIA at some point. Can you talk to that?
Yeah. So Bob Monroe actually was, I guess, brought in to work with the remote viewers. And the remote viewer program was administered by the CIA. And so he was brought in to see how he could help the remote viewers be better at remote viewing using the HemiSync, or help them some form or fashion. So what they discovered is that it didn't improve the remote viewing, but it did help the remote viewers with their cool down process. So instead of taking like 2 hours to cool down, Joe McMonagle is very famous for being one of the subjects at Monroe. They ended up helping him go from 2 hours to like 5 minutes in a cool down session just by listening to HemiSync. So it was very beneficial. Well, then they started to send a lot of the people in the program through the gateway. So I think on a lot of the social media, there's like CIA document on the gateway
Yes,
and
yes, yeah.
things of that nature. So they had to do some type of science behind it in order to get that go through. So they had a lot of military people coming through for a while, and then something happened and it stopped. But then what's interesting is that they hired Bob Monroe, and he had security clearance and everything to work with this highly black program, secret program. And he actually was hired to teach Joe to do remote viewing out of body. So Joe would come in, and Bob Monroe worked with him one on one, and they did a target and practice going out of body. And matter of fact, one of Joe's most famous out of body or remote viewings is around Mars. And it was Bob Monroe that was working with him on that. And it was, I think, DOD or something, one of the other agencies, not CIA, that came to task him about Mars. And it's really very interesting.
That is okay. What is the cool down?
So cool down, and I think it would be even helpful for dowsers to adopt something like that. Whenever you go to do a target, you maybe did a target like 5 minutes ago. So you want your body and your mind actually to be, your body to be relaxed, but your mind to be clear and open, an open slate to get new information. So whenever you're working on a target, you don't want to think about the last target or what you're going to have for dinner or what the story that you heard this morning around the cooler was. You want to completely empty your mind. And same thing with dowsers. Whenever we're doing our dowsing, we don't want to be thinking about what could the answer be. We want a clear and open mind. And so Bob is really good using the sound to help balance the brain, get relaxed so you can be in a relaxed, open, receptive state. So that's the cool down.
Okay. Okay, good to know. Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So that's a little bit of history about Bob. And then if you want more information, there's tons of information on our archives, and I can share that with you in a little bit. Okay, so just to kind of review, our purpose is advancing global awakening of human consciousness, and mission helping people create a more meaningful and joyful life through the guided exploration of consciousness. And the board did something really interesting a few years ago. They gave the staff, a goal. And it's like, we want to reach 1% of human population here on Earth. So that's like 80 million people. And so they're like, well, how can we get this done? And so some of the things that we're going to go over tonight, I'll share with you on how to get that done. But it's very forward thinking, and they want to reach that goal and help people with the HemiSync and or Monroe Sound Science now in doing so. So
Yeah, to expand the consciousness of the planet. Yes, please.
okay, so I was thinking this might be a good time to do our live med or our meditation. You think we have enough
Sure.
background?
The I think so. If anybody has a chat, has a question, you're welcome to put it in the chat and we can do it. But there will be time for Q&As after our meditation
Yeah.
too.
So just a little bit about the exercise. It's a well-guided exercise. It's using the new technology. So we used to have HemiSync with Bob. He created HemiSync, really perfected it. And we still have the basis of hemisync, but we have some new sound techniques, and you're going to listen to that in this exercise. But what I've noticed being a mind mirror practitioner and a dowser is that in order to get into deep states of meditation and relaxation, to get to that juicy stuff, to get to that subconscious level, we have to be able to centralize and produce alpha. So we have four brainwave states: beta, alpha, theta, delta. We're in and out of all of those in different proportions all the time. But what I recommend in this exercise is to stay awake, sit up or recline. Headphones is best. But during the exercise, you're going to hear a lot of descriptor words and really get into it. Really imagine what you're seeing or what is being described. Imagine in the vision, imagine smells, taste, sounds. Really get into it and just immerse yourself in all the imagery, the inner senses. And what that does is it helps you build alpha, and that is really good to support your experience to go deep into theta, into your subconscious, and into delta, into the unconscious field. So whenever we're dowsing, that's where we want to go to. We want to go into that theta and into that delta to an extent. But we also want to bring it up into our conscious awareness, into our beta awareness. So this is really good to help us practice that alpha to get deep into those states.
Okay, I have a
So,
question for you.
sure.
What is Mind Mirror? Will you explain that?
Yes, it is a 4 lead or 5 lead EEG that you put on your head. And what it does is it gives you real-time data on what's happening whenever you're doing a meditation. So it measures your beta, your alpha, your theta, and your delta and gamma, lower mid gamma. And what they noticed is that Max K created this in the UK, and Anna Wise brought it over to the US. And they noticed that there's a like almost a good pattern that you should fit into in order to have peak experiences, to get your most from meditation. And they actually went to the Dowsers Association a while back and started looking at some of the experienced dowsers. And guess what? They were doing the same thing that a lot of Monroe graduates do, that perfect beta, alpha bridge, theta, and delta. And I really feel like whenever I first went on the Mind Mirror, my scores were really high with eyes open. It's like, it's got to be the dowsing, as much dowsing as I have done, because you relax and you're not falling asleep when you're dowsing, right? You're dipping into that subconscious information and bringing it up. So I feel like this is a really good exercise to help practice that and build that alpha. And I feel like the more you kind of experience it and practice it, I think the dowsing will really benefit as well.
So the
Does that
Mind
make
Mirror
sense?
just really measures your different brain waves as you're doing different activities.
Exactly. Exactly. And at the Monroe Institute, I just came back from what's called a discovery program where we put people on the mind mirror in the morning and then track their exercises and their brain waves during the meditation exercises. And it's fascinating to see how the sound is helping people, really honing in on their meditation skills. It's really fascinating.
That is very cool. Okay, so how are you proposing that we do this
Okay.
exercise together?
Okay. So in chat, well, let me tell everybody what we're going to do in chat, and then the option for people that are going to listen to the recording. So in chat, I'm going to put a link, and all you have to do is click on the link, and it should put in on your browser a link to the SoundCloud exercise, and then you hit play, and then you start listening to it. So I recommend that you listen to headphones if you can. If not, it's okay. But if you get best results by listening to the exercise on headphones or earbuds, earbuds is fine. And then it's 30 minutes. So I'd recommend running to the restroom real quick before you do it and just lose yourself in the imagery, and really dig down deep inside of your inner senses. And some people can't visualize, and that's okay, but you can just know that you're following the guidance by just know I'm in a garden. Know I hear something. Know I'm going to receive something. You don't have to actually see something or perceive something. It's all about inner perceptions. So in the chat now, I will put a link to my SoundCloud. And then for those who are, we could probably put the link in this um, in the details
Newsletter.
of this exercise. But if you want to, you can always go to YouTube, and this is on the Monroe channel, and they have one a month. And I'll talk about some that are more recent, but this one is from June of 2024. So,
Um,
okay.
so let me just ask you, I didn't think about this earlier, but
Okay.
so on the replay, is it going to be like 30 minutes of silence because we're all listening on our own? Or
Well,
can
you
we?
can pause the recording if you want, and then we can come back after the recording.
Okay, that might be better because that might be painful for people to
Yeah.
like have 30 minutes of silence. It
Yeah.
wouldn't be the same hemi-sync experience.
Right. And we're
Okay,
trying to give you the best HemiSync experience, and that's why I have like the link.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, do we want to say what the link is out loud just in case somebody's listening so they can go to it?
Um,
I guess that's a
it,
little hard to say.
yeah.
Well, you can definitely go to the Monroe Institute YouTube channel, and it's the
Mhm.
live group meditation Garden of Insight,
Mhm.
June 26, 2024. And
Yeah.
that's what we're going to be listening to today.
Yeah.
So, are those public things? Can anybody listen?
Yes, that's what's beautiful is that the Institute is putting out a lot of stuff for free, and it's the new stuff. So it sounds like once a month they're publishing to different platforms, and I think YouTube's a great platform where you can listen to it for free.
Okay. Okay, well,
Mhm.
I'm going to hit pause and we will I guess everybody can be on their own and get started on their hemi-sync experience. So just to be clear, to reiterate, best if you have a headset so you can have the full experience in each ear. Hemi-sync is each ear so the brain syncs, right?
Right.
It activates different parts of the brain.
Yes.
And we have your SoundCloud link in the chat. And if you are watching this later, you can catch it on YouTube for the Monroe Institute channel. So,
Yes.
okay, so I'm going to hit pause. We'll see you after the meditation.
Okay, so we'll be back at, let's give them like a break to run to the restroom. So back at 10 after.
Okay.
Well, I'll be back in 30 minutes, and I'd
Yeah.
love to hear if they want to take notes to hear about their experience.
Yes, absolutely. Would we want to douse kind of how we're feeling now, and as opposed to how we are feeling later? What's a question that we can?
I'm glad you mentioned that, Mary, because what I like to do is say, what percent positive, and I use my handy dandy hand as a chart, what percent positive experience or energy do I have on this meditation? And right now I'm getting 60, 20, 40, 60. Now let's clear, and we'll just ask our guidance to clear any negative stuff out of the way so that we don't have negative energy around the sound, around the person who made it, around Bob Monroe, the Monroe Institute, and just give us a yes whenever all negative energy around this exercise and our experience with it is cleared. Okay. And whenever it's cleared, we'll get a yes. And then I'm going to ask what percent positive energy do I have around it now? And I'm getting 100. So hopefully that'll help. And my experience is that it's nice to get your positive up as high as it can be and get any lower level energies or things that are sticky out of the way, and your guidance knows how to do it. So
Yeah.
not to
So it'd be
worry.
fun for everybody to do that and see what percentage they're at when they start, and then I guess we can ask a different question after we're
Yeah.
complete. So, okay.
All
All
right.
right. Perfect. All right. So we're going to take a pause and we're going to do our HemiSync experience.
Okay. Enjoy.
Okay.
Okay.
We think we figured out a way that everybody can listen. And you also have the links to listen on your own in the future, but we're giving it a whirl tonight. So
Okay. Here we go.
everybody mute yourselves. I guess. Yeah.
Welcome to this journey of tranquility and insight. Find a comfortable position, whether sitting or lying down. Close your eyes and take a few deeper breaths. Inhale deeply, filling your lungs with air, and exhale slowly, releasing any tension you may be holding on to. Now gently bring your awareness to your body. Notice how it feels. Take a moment to acknowledge any areas of tension or discomfort. Begin by focusing on the top of your head. Imagine a warm, soothing light gently spreading over your scalp, releasing any tightness. Allow this warm light to move down to your forehead, smoothing out any creases, and then to your eyes, letting them sink softly into their sockets. Feel your temples relaxing as the light continues to flow down to your cheeks and your jaw. Let your jaw hang slightly open, releasing any tension you may be holding there. Now direct your attention to your neck and shoulders. Imagine the warm light spreading across your shoulders, melting away any stiffness. Feel your shoulders and your neck relax deeply as the tension dissolves. Let this wave of relaxation flow down your arms all the way to your fingertips. Next, bring your focus to your chest and upper back. As you breathe in, imagine the warm light filling your chest with peace. And as you exhale, feel any tightness in your upper back releasing. Allow this soothing sensation to move down your spine, easing any tension. Shift your awareness to your abdomen. Feel your stomach rise with each inhale and gently fall with each exhale. Let go of any tightness in your belly, allowing it to soften. Let the relaxation continue down to your hips and pelvis, feeling a sense of openness and ease in this area. Now bring your attention to your legs. Imagine the warm light traveling from your hips down to your thighs, knees, and calves. Feel your muscles loosening and any tension melting away. Finally, direct the relaxation to your feet and toes. Take a moment to scan your entire body, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. Notice how each part of your body feels relaxed, heavy, and completely at ease. Continue to breathe easily for a few moments and allow yourself to sink deeper into this state of relaxation. With each exhale, imagine that you are sinking deeper into the chair or bed supporting you, giving away any last hint of tension in your body. Imagine that the boundaries between your body and the surrounding environment gradually dissolve as you continue to breathe effortlessly. Now imagine yourself standing at the entrance of a beautiful Zen garden. The air is fresh, and you can feel a gentle breeze on your skin. Take a moment to look around. Notice the vibrant colors of the flowers, the lush greenery, and the intricate patterns of the stones beneath your feet. As you step into the garden, feel the ground beneath you, each step grounding you more into this serene space. Listen closely, and you will hear the soft, melodious sound of wind chimes gently swaying in the breeze. The chimes create a harmonious tune that resonates deep within you, bringing a sense of calm and peace. Take a few moments to listen to the wind chimes, allowing their soothing sound to wash over you. Now bring your attention to the sound of a flowing fountain nearby. The water cascades gently, creating a rhythmic, calming sound. Imagine the water is washing away any remaining stress or worry, leaving you feeling refreshed and relaxed. As you walk further into the garden, you come across a small wooden bench. Take a seat and feel the smooth, cool surface beneath you. Notice the scent of the flowers around you, perhaps the sweet fragrance of jasmine or the fresh aroma of lavender. Breathe in these scents deeply, allowing them to fill your senses with their calming presence. Now close your eyes and take a few moments to simply be in this tranquil space. Feel the gentle breeze, hear the wind chimes and the fountain, smell the fragrant flowers. Allow yourself to be fully present in this moment, immersed in the peace and serenity of the garden. As you sit here, deeply relaxed, imagine that you notice the presence of a wise guide. This guide can take any form: a person, an animal, or even a light. You may see them, hear them, or just feel their presence. They have a message for you, something important that you need to understand at this moment in your life. Imagine this guide approaching you, and as they do, they hand you a beautiful, delicate, closed lotus flower. Flower slowly opens in your hands, revealing a message or insight within it. Take a moment to receive this message. It could come as words, images, feelings, or even just a knowing. Trust whatever comes to you. Spend some time with this message, allowing it to resonate deeply within you. Feel the wisdom and guidance it brings, and know that you can carry this insight with you as you move forward in your life. When you feel ready, gently thank your guide for this message. They nod and slowly disappear, leaving you with a sense of peace and clarity. Remember that you can return to this tranquil garden anytime you need peace, clarity, or guidance. Now allow this scene to gently fade and begin to bring your awareness back to your breath, back to your physical body. Feel the rise and fall of your chest with each inhale and exhale. Start to notice the surface beneath you again, the sounds around you, and the air on your skin. When you're ready, slowly open your eyes. Take a moment to stretch and bring your awareness fully back to the present moment. Welcome back.
Okay. How's everybody feeling after that? Are we feeling deeply relaxed?
That was amazing.
Good job.
That was amazing.
Oh, so
Do
glad
you
to
want
meet
to?
you.
There were some long pauses. I was kind of thinking, did it stop? And then I hear the voice and it kind of made me jump a little bit. Yeah, somebody almost fell asleep and somebody else thought it was wonderful. Yeah, so do we have, are we wanting to do a little Q&A?
I wanted just to kind of go over a couple of other things before we got to Q&A. I know we're getting close. But this would be a typical exercise during a program. Our exercises like are around 30, 35 minutes, maybe some a lot longer. But a typical program, you would learn about what you're going to listen to it, and then come back and talk about it. And Geraldine, I'm glad you said almost fell asleep, because the sound gets you right on that razor blade edge of awake and asleep. And it's like we're exploring that area, that theta area. What's there? What's available to us? And so it's so easy if you're tired to fall asleep in these exercises. That's why I recommend sitting up. And then at the end, drink grounding water, get fully present, listen to the very end. And, you know, it's audio technology at its finest.
So that was activating different parts of our brain through the hemisync process.
Yeah, so Bob Monroe came up with the hemisync process, and the Monroe Institute has now taken it a step further. So I was talking to one of our audio or musicians today, and he's like, we're using new things like spatial audio, so you could hear things in different areas, 3D immersive effects. And they're using new hardware and software to take the knowledge from hemisync and build upon it, and take it to like shift the gear up a little bit from what Bob Monroe did. So it's really cutting edge as far as audio guided meditations go. Okay. Okay.
Gerald says she found herself a bit confused when you used the word Zen garden. The description was different than the traditional white sand, black Zen stones. Yeah, and how do you deal with mind chatter?
That's a really good question, Geraldine, because what the mind chatter is your beta mind. And it's like you can see it whenever we do mind mirrors. You can see somebody narrating or talking to themselves or asking themselves questions. And it's dipping down into that alpha state that's necessary to go further into theta. And so listening to audio like Monroe Sound Science Hemisync helps balance that brain so it's not so left brain mind chatter or beta mind chatter, and it helps you relax. So one of the just a couple of tips is deep breaths. Focus on your in and your out, like breathe in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4. And there's a lot of different techniques. Another thing is to relax the back of your tongue, because the tongue is attached to your vagus nerve, and that relaxation helps with the mind chatter. Believe it or not, but it really works. And the more you listen to things like this, and you don't have to listen to a lot a day, just, a 5 or 10 minute, just to help relax that narrative self, the beta self, and get into a relaxed alpha state, kind of like daydreaming. And it takes a while, because I would say it can immediately happen with a sound, but if you're habitual to narrating to yourself, to talking to yourself, then you have to practice relaxing that, and letting that mind chatter go, because it's not what you think. You are not what you think. Thinking is just a function of the mind. You're way more than that. You are more than your physical body, as Bob Monroe would say. Okay, do you recommend any programs on the Monroe Institute app? Yes. So I have a slide for that. Is it okay if I go ahead and go on
Yeah.
to that, Mary?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going to go through these pretty quick. Okay, so our technology, I just wanted people to know that we're partnering with a lot of different places Euphoria, which has a EEG headband, Heart Math, people probably are familiar with them. Mind Mirror does programs there, DOPS. What they're looking at, and was I so excited to hear today, is that they're looking at group coherence, how group coherence can affect a group of people and the place that they're at. If everybody's in group coherence, how will that affect the people, place, and their intention? So that's really good. And if you want to know more about that, you can watch Luigi Shambrella's presentation from our professional division, which is coming soon. But it's really helping people to get to the focus states and have a very rich experience and in the group. I kind of talked about that. Gateway Voyage is the flagship program, and they're now available in different ways. So we have a mini version of it on the Institute. It's called Beyond the Physical. I think that's the name of the program. It's like a online platform where you can listen to it at your own. Then there are different ways to get it. They're gonna eventually have things that are on programs on the app, but in the app, let me see. Well, let me first talk about YouTube just really quick. I was floored that they started offering focus level 27 on YouTube, and now they have visualization for reconnection and peace, the park in 27, and healing and rejuvenation center in 27. Whenever I first started 20 years ago, they wouldn't dare put 27 out to the public, and now it's on YouTube. So really nice experiences. I would highly recommend those on YouTube.
So what is
Um,
27? Is that a level?
Focus level, it's like we're here on Earth and it's here. And then whenever you go beyond the physical into another realm, it's there. And some people would be, it's like heaven, but it's everything Earth related and then some. So in 27, you have an education center, you have a record hall of records center, you have everything that's on Earth that you can tap into. I feel like musicians, whenever they write a really good song, they go to 27 and grab the information and bring it down. And
So
we
it's
can
kind
do
of like a level of consciousness
it
where lots of things are available to.
exactly.
Okay.
Ideas and information and experiences and other beings being either physical or non-physical. So this was really cool. So I'd recommend that. On this, it's not really too big, but it's our archives. If you go to archive.org/details/Monroe Institute Audio Archive, there's lots of experiences there. So if you just Google Monroe Institute Archives, it goes to the archives.org place where everything is held. So look for the Monroe audio files, and you can find some really good ones there. The
And I guess
expand
people could douse to see what would be beneficial for them.
exactly. That's the thing. There's so many things to look at. So I would definitely like have a list, the archives, the app, the YouTube, and then douse, which would be better. And then once you get to the archive or to the expand, there's different sections. Which section should I
So
look at
now,
today?
the Expand is the app that you can just download on your phone, and it has several free experiences, meditation experiences, and then it has some that you can, I guess, unlock through being a member or paid
Yes.
experiences.
And there's a Houston local group. If you go to the groups, which is the people at the bottom, and then see all the groups and look for the Houston, I have and I will in the future post some of the paid meditations. Let's say I'll post them on Thursday so you can look and see what if you have the free version, you don't necessarily want to pay for it yet. Just check in on Houston and I'll share some meditations and they last for a day or two. Some of the things I like are power nap in the sleep section, relax and rejuvenate, lucid dreaming, dolphin healing is free. So anybody that needs some healing help. Celestial alignment is a really cool meditation. And then I like castle. It's just music and it helps with the cool down and to get ready to douse. Beyond the physical section is really nice. So if you want to take a picture of that, those are some of the things that I recommend.
So
Uh,
so on the app, where does it talk about the groups?
Okay. So on the app at the very bottom, there's a headphone and then a little notepad and then 3 people.
Mm-hmm.
And then whenever you go to the 3 people, you can go to groups and then see all. And there
Okay.
is a Houston MCG, Monroe Community Group.
Oh,
And
there's
you can
also a
join that.
South Houston too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Um, okay. I see Houston MCG. All
Mhm.
right. And so then when we go in and we look at the groups, you or other people that are local will post. Yes, the app is free. It's called the Expand app. She's got a picture on her screen share. See where it says Expand?
Yeah.
The app looks like I don't know if you can see. I have too much stuff on my phone. It's it is blue and it's a circle and uh, kind of blue and purple
Mhm. And if you
circle.
just type in expand beyond the physical or beyond meditation, it'll show up. So that's what I recommend on the app. Apparently, sleep is the most popular. That tells a little bit about our society. We need help with sleep. Our Instagram is excellent. They have a lot of quotes from Bob Monroe and have some really cool things there. Residential. So our main place, our headquarters is in Faber, Virginia, which is near Charlottesville. It's not a direct flight from Houston, but we also offer a lot of virtual programs. Um, Spoon bending is excellent. I train that every once in a while. Beyond the physical is really nice. And then remote viewing, we have 4 different levels. So you can start off with just a 3 hour, then a weekend, and then residential. I'm going to be offering 1 to 2 day workshops in person and on Zoom, and I'm also going to be doing Mind Mirror experiences with audio guidance. And then there's a special coming around the bend. I was told first quarter, but it might be sooner, and it's Monroe Institute on Gaia. So it'll explain a lot about the programs, the history, and it's a series that they're going to do. So I'm excited about that. And now we're down to question. Oh, one more thing in case. This is my contact information. My website's under construction right now, but feel free to email me or text or call. I'd be more than happy to chat. Okay, so Q&A. Okay, sorry.
I would be curious to hear how people experienced the meditation, or did they get any interesting information, anything they feel like sharing? I kind of had an interesting this big rabbit showed up and I'm like, what is the rabbit doing here? and and I was like, what do you represent? And there was some writing, like there was something, but I couldn't determine what it was. And anyway, I think the rabbit represented fertile opportunity, rich and fertile with opportunities and enough. It was very interesting. And then I asked about a specific situation and I got just like the image of an open door. So
Oh, that is interesting. I got some light with this one. It was nice. Does HemiSync use visual lights paired with sound? I think so. Matter of fact, they're doing some research into the Roxivia sound or the Roxivia lights. And I know in our check units, which is a little cubby in the residential place that we do our exercises at, whenever you go in, you go into this little cubby and you close a curtain. That way you block out sound and distractions. And Bob Monroe put lights in there. They weren't special, they were just different colored bulbs. So they're looking at, what else can help with the exploration of consciousness, and lights have definitely been, something interesting to look at.
Well, and sounds, right, translate into light, into
Yeah,
color.
all
So,
frequencies, right?
yeah. So the I guess being a sound engineer and realizing the sound stuff, I just was part of me wonders, is there more sound that's just subtle that's happening that we're not necessarily aware of?
Yeah, so there is no subliminal sound. So nothing that is like hidden,
Okay.
subliminal images or messages. Bob Monroe was not into that at all. And we don't do that. Anything subliminal like messages underneath the
Okay.
liminal state. So everything is what you hear, but the techniques is how it affects your brain, and the brain reacts and then goes into certain brainwave states. And it's really interesting. But the main thing is, how does it make you feel? And you could have different or Monroe Sound Sciences hemisyncs to do different things, to be concentrating, and to read a book or do your work, or others to relax, others to sleep. So you want to look at what it is that you want to do, and then pick an exercise that matches that
Are they all 30 minutes?
No, there's some that are 5 minutes, some that are 15 minutes. The app has a lot shorter exercises, but the typical ones is like what we experience, about 30 minutes. Some of the
I have to say,
classic.
I was telling you earlier that I got the app and I've listened to the 4 day thing this week. Today was my fourth day. So I have to say, feeling more relaxed and less flustered by things. So was my basic experience.
That's great. And there's a number of paths. You could do one, I think, on creation manifestation. One, let me just read what they are. Multi-day journeys is what it's called. Connecting with spirit, connecting with guidance, improving sleep, manifesting, healing, lucid dreaming, and walking meditation.
Oh, nice. So if somebody doesn't want to sit still, they can walk and listen to
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
If people are having a hard time staying awake, often slow walking, listening to sound is very beneficial.
Okay, very cool. And so lots of free programs available. And then if people want to dive deeper, they can, I guess, take the different courses.
Mhm.
But it sounds like lots of resources for folks to access
Lots of
immediately.
resources. And luckily we as Dowsers have an edge where we can like zero in on something that can help us, because a lot of times it gets very overwhelming. People are like, where do I start? And we're always like, Gateway is our flagship program. Start with Gateway or variation of Gateway, or, the intros to Gateway, start there. And I heard that they had some donations for scholarships. So if people really want to go and they don't necessarily have the full amount, ask for scholarships. Because from what I understand, they're available. And they want to give it out to as many people as possible. So they're really being creative in how they're doing it. We have a very unique situation now with Monroe. We're sold out of Gateway until next year during July. So all this year and halfway through next year, we're sold out residential. But we've opened to different campuses. So I trained in California earlier this year. We have more programs going in California. We're looking at New York, Florida. I would love to get a Houston place. I did do a gateway about a while back at the Cynical Sisters place off of, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Memorial, but they're closed now. So if anybody knows of a place that might work in the Houston area, that would be great.
So is that a 1 day? Is that a multiple day?
Well, we're looking for a residential of 5 day, but I'm also doing 2 day workshops. So I kind of have a place. I used to be at the ARE Center, whenever they remodeled it, it was beautiful. And I did some workshops there. So someplace like that, if anybody knows, but I kind of have a place I'm using now, and then I'm doing them online as well. But
Okay, I have some ideas that might work for you too. Okay, let's see.
do I do sessions with people with TBIs? So I work with my husband with the Mind Mirror, and then whenever he's needing to do something, whether it be to relax, then I can give him some relaxing sounds. So what I use is
TBI is traumatic brain injury, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I'm not like certified to do anything like that, but I do use the Mind Mirror, and it's impressive how well he's done. And he's only done 3 Monroe programs, but we listen to different selections all the time, different exercises, either on the app, or I have a lot of HemiSync. So I listen to that too.
Wow, I
But
love that it helps.
Geraldine, if you want to contact me, I can recommend some things that might help. Or if you're interested in a mind mirror, I'd be happy to work with you on that.
So now how does a mind mirror, like, is that a session? How does that work?
Yes. So normally we hook people up to the 4-lead EEG, so your hair gets kind of messy. And then we do a baseline, and then you'll do an exercise. And if there's something that I could see, hey, I don't see a lot of alpha there, then we can work on developing that alpha, or not quite getting down into theta or falling asleep. I can look to see where you're at specifically and tailor some exercises to kind of work on to help you really get benefit out of your meditation time.
So can you read like brain scans?
No, it's a special software that is specific to the Mind Mirror, the information that you're getting. So it comes in patterns. And let me see if I could show something real quick. But or maybe I should just give you like a link to let me just look at this real quick. Yeah, I can share this. It's really interesting, and this is the mindmirrorportal.com. And so on the upper right side, you'll see the pink, the orange, and the green, blue, and purple. That is all the different bands of the brainwave frequencies. And then we look for patterns, which is down at the bottom. So we look to see what's going on through different meditations. And if you can kind of hit the ratios to get to the ideal state. And if not, what can you do to help, improve those numbers? But I bet you anything, a lot of our dowsers are really good, because just I've evaluated, several people that have done SRT, and of course we do dowsing on that, and it's like really impressive. So if people are having issues with dowsing, maybe we could look at it to see where they're at and maybe how to get better. But if you're proficient at dowsing, I bet you anything you're doing really well in how you're managing those brain frequencies. So this is mindmirrorportal.com to find out more about the Mind Mirror.
Okay. That's great. All right. Well, I think we are out of time. I want to say thank you so much. This has been great. Very interesting. Definitely has my curiosity piqued. And yeah, and so Beth has her info in the chat, and it's also on the newsletter that'll be sent out. And she's also going to, when we have the send out the replay, we're going to have the link. So if you want to listen to the exercise that we did tonight on your own, you're welcome to do that. Thank you for that. Yeah, and if you find value in what we're doing here and you would like to make a donation, donate what contributes to you. So, and thank you to all who have donated. And remember, next month we're going to be meeting in person at the Aurora Chapel. So we look forward to that. All right. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it.